backstretch at Churchill Downs. Preparations for the big moment are nearly complete. Horses have been groomed to a brilliant shine, and soon the bridle will be put in place. Even the animals sense something important is about to unfold. Across the track, the jockeys feel the first butterflies of tension. And beneath the twin spires, the huge crowd celebrates the arrival of spring. New outfits, topped by the perfect hat, vie for attention with the craziness of the infield. And all share the same goal, to pick the Derby winner. Will it be Harlan's Holiday, humbly bred in Ohio but wonderfully consistent? Or Came Home, the horse nobody wanted? Maybe Hall of Fame trainer Bobby Frankel can get his first Derby victory, thanks to a 55-year-old jockey, Lafitte Pincaille, who would be the oldest winner ever. They team up with Medaglia d'Oro. Or perhaps Johannesburg, arriving at Churchill Downs just this morning, will come all the way from Ireland to beat America's Best, as he did in the Breeders' Cup. The juleps have been mixed, the champagne iced, the garland of roses awaits the winner. All is hope and anticipation. It is Kentucky Derby Day. And the 128th Kentucky Derby Day has dawned in glorious fashion. The horses today will be racing for the second richest Derby purse ever, $1,175,000 in the first leg of the Visa Triple Crown. Hard to imagine more perfect weather. 70 degrees. It feels warmer in the sun, which is very bright. And the track is fast for today's Kentucky Derby. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Churchill Downs. I'm Tom Hammond, ready for a wide-open Derby, one of the most wide-open in recent memory. Anybody could win today. With a couple of new wrinkles, there is a strong international presence at this year's Derby. And yes, Wayne Lukas and Bob Baffert are here, but some new faces as well. There were 24 horses pointing for the Derby. The field limited to 20 based on graded earnings. And since the entries were taken, we've had a couple of scratches. Yesterday, Buddha came up lame in the morning. He would have been one of the favorites. He was scratched. And then this morning, Dan, the Bluegrass Man, suffering muscle spasms after his morning gallop, scratched by Bob Baffert. So we have 18 set to go to the post in the 128th Derby. Betting began yesterday, and here are the current odds for the Kentucky Derby. Johannesburg, the champion 2-year-old of a year ago from Ireland, is at 8-1. Perfect Drift, 7-1, getting a lot of action. War Emblem, that's Baffert's horse, at 20-1. Ocean Sound, you see a long shot. Essence of Dubai, 9-1. Medaglia d'Oro, trained by Bobby Frankel, 7-1. Private Emblem, 23-1. Proud Citizen is a 20-1 shot. That's the Lukas trainee. Harlan's Holiday, the morning line favorite, now at 6-1. Came Home has lost only once in his life. He's 8-1. Saarland vying for favoriteship with Harlan's Holiday, 6-1. They would be the highest price Derby favorites ever if they continue at that 6-1 price. Blue Burner, the 20 horse, is 24-1. And we're pleased now to welcome Charles C. Canty back again to our Derby telecast. And Charles, we mentioned the two scratches, Buddha and Dan the Bluegrass Man. Unfortunate, because there were other horses that wanted to run in the Derby that now must stay on the sideline.
Well, Tom, under the Derby rules, once those 20 entries are taken, the horses who did not make the cut are out of the picture for good. They are finished. They don't have another chance to run. There is no also eligible list. There is no standby list such as there are in other races. So consequently, we've got empty slots in the starting gate, several horses in the stable area who are being denied their one and only chance to run in the Kentucky Derby. So clearly the system is not really perfect, and it needs to be re-looked at, and it's going to be controversial, so stand by. You'll be hearing a lot about this.
Dan the Bluegrass Man was a surprise entrant when the entries were taken. There was some controversy then because it knocked out Windward Passage, and now that he's not going to run, the controversy just intensifies, and perhaps they will look at an also eligible list for the Kentucky Derby. Well, the Derby means a lot of things to different people, but of course, primary on the list is picking a winner, and right now, Bob Newmeyer and Mike Battaglia are down by the windows.
We are at Jockey Club West here at Churchill Downs, enjoying the sights and smells of the Kentucky Derby. The smells being the gentlemen puffing on their expensive cigars and the women sporting their fancy perfume. But the overwhelming smell in this room is the smell of money, Mike Battaglia.
A lot of money here, and this is the place to be. This place is hopping right now. Behind us, people are making the high rollers, are making their bets for the Kentucky Derby. And what a betting race it is. 18 betting interests. You can bet win, place, show, exacta, trifecta, pick 3, pick 4, maybe even a superfecta.
And I got money
over 12,000.
And I got money in all of them.
That's right. I believe
How much we talking about? We're talking about, I think, $18 million at this track on Derby Day. Extraordinary amounts of cash in over 1,000 simulcast locations throughout our great land. $100 million. Ka-ching, ka-ching.
This is where the money is, Tom. Back to you.
All right, I think it'll be a while before we see them if they're getting in line to bet, which they always are. Meanwhile, the people out in the infield have a different agenda entirely, and somewhere out there amongst the masses is Kenny Rice. Kenny?
Tom, I do believe I'm the only person here with a coat and tie on. This is the infield, which becomes a city without limits on Kentucky Derby Day. There are over 50,000 people here. They have paid $40 apiece, and all it does is get them in. Now, they do have some amenities here. They have a betting window. They also have concession stands. But one thing they do not have is a view of the track. It is doubtful that any of these 50,000 people today will see more than 6 or 7 seconds of the world's greatest 2 minutes in sports. But at least they can say they were at the Kentucky Derby. At least for those who remember it, Tom.
All right, Kenny. And of course, for the people that put on the show here, the horsemen, coming to the Kentucky Derby is the realization of a lifelong dream. And Donna Brothers is on the backstretch. Donna?
Well, Tom, in contrast to that madness in the infield and at the betting windows, it's tranquility back here in the barn area. I'm standing in front of Kenny McPeak's barn, of course, the home of Harlan's Holiday. Was the early morning line favorite, but now 6-1, I believe, in the betting. He won the Florida Derby. He won the Bluegrass Stakes. He has all the credentials he needs, but he's just not getting the backing from the bettors. Harlan's Holiday walked this morning, took a little restful morning, slept in with some of the rest of us, and is fully prepared for his best race today, Tom.
All right, Donna, and if you'd like to join in the fun, you can log on to NBCSports.com and cast your vote for who you think will win their silks for the official photo for the 128th Kentucky Derby. And early this morning, a van arrived here, and the 2 Irish-based colts, Castle Gandolfo and Johannesburg. Castle Gandolfo, the first off the van, setting foot on Churchill Downs for the first time. There is a regulation that Derby horses must be on the grounds by 10 the morning of the race. They beat the deadline, but it's the first time they have been on Churchill Downs soil. They'd arrived from Ireland earlier in the week and entered quarantine at Keeneland. That's some 80 miles down the road in Lexington, and after the quarantine, they remained at Keeneland to train. Here's Came Home. He's the horse nobody wanted, at least at the price his owners are willing to sell. Maybe that's why he gets no respect. His record brilliant, 6 wins and 7 starts, including the Hopeful and Santa Anita Derby, but his odds 8-1. For trainer Paco Gonzalez, though, he's the horse of a lifetime.
You know, without Paco, we wouldn't have had the success we've had. His dedication and devotion speaks for itself. I mean, he's here all day.
All he does is think horses. He's here at 3:30 every morning checking the horses before the grooms come in. He stays with them all day long, and I mean, he's just got one thing in mind, the horses.
I mean, it's his life. Very rarely do I call the barn in the afternoon and he's not here. I mean, here he is, you know. We got lots of help. He's got an assistant. He doesn't have to be here. This is where he wants to be. This is where he's the happiest.
I love it, you know, otherwise, you know, I don't do it. To go to the Derby with a horse, they got a chance. You know, it makes you feel so good because, you know, going to the Derby, you know, it's a special race.
Goes on with it, Came Home, being asked to come after Came Home. Is sheer classy call out, and it's next up Kentucky. Came Home, a scintillating winner in the Santa Anita Derby.
This Derby horse may have fate on his side. 3 times he was put up for sale at auction. All 3 times he came home.
been in 3 sales, and he came home every time. There was nothing else to call him but came home. And, you know, I'm glad nobody bought him now.
He was meant to be in our barn, and you know, maybe it was fate. I kind of think so now.
This horse has got a big heart. He's got a big heart. It's a little horse, but the heart is big.
To come this far and to be able to go there with this horse is a thrill of a lifetime.
Winning the race I don't know how he's going to feel. It's going to be something, you know, unbelievable, you know, hard to believe.
To win the Derby would mean a tremendous amount to me, but to win the Derby for Paco would probably be the greatest experience of my lifetime.
If this horse wins, I'm going to retire. I go home. I need a time off.
Well, I have a feeling Paco would be a little restless in retirement if he did go home. And right now, Paco, as he comes over with Came home, and Kenny Rice is walking with him. Kenny?
Paco, you've made this trip a couple of times before. What are you feeling right now as you bring Came home over to saddle him up?
Right now, I'm a little nervous, okay? Tell you the truth. But I feel very good because the horse is coming to this race 100%, you know.
He looks good.
He's training here beautiful, you know. What can I ask for more, you know?
We just heard you say that you might retire if he wins the Derby. You think John and Trudy would let you do that?
About a couple of years ago, I was not feeling too well, and I told John I was going to retire, and he said, well, you retire when we win the Derby.
Well, good luck today, then. Thank you, Paco Gonzalez. I don't think he's going to retire if he wins today. He'll keep going, Tom.
I think you're right, Kenny. Let's check in with Mike Battaglia.
All right, thanks, Tom. With Murray Johnson. And Murray's a native of Australia, but he's lived in Louisville for 11 years. And Murray, this has got to be just a special feeling coming over here with a serious contender for the Derby.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. It's just like it was 11 years ago, and we're going to do it this time.
You told me that this horse was acting a little anxious to you. That's why you wanted to get him over as quickly as you could. He seems to me to be in perfect... he seems to me not to be turning a hair, but you thought he was a little anxious.
Well, just alert and got a little sick of waiting there, but yeah, he's right now, and we're right on cue.
And what did you do today? You said you were so nervous you couldn't stand to stay around the barns. What did you do for your afternoon?
Well, I live here locally, so I went home and mowed my lawn.
There you go. So that's Murray Johnson goes home and mows the lawn in preparation for the Derby, Tom.
Johannesburg at 8-1, Perfect Drift, getting a lot of play, 7-1. Essence of Dubai is 9-1, Medaglia d'Oro 7-1, 6-1 still on Harlan's Holiday. Came home at 8. Saarland still at 6-1, and Blue Burner 24-1. Blue Burner was scheduled to be ridden by Corey Nakatani, but he was in a spill a couple of days ago, so he stepped aside for Pat Day, who had been scheduled to ride Buddha, who had to be scratched. And there's Ken McPeak on the crutches after breaking his foot in that pickup basketball game, the trainer of Harlan's Holiday. You know, his first stakes winner was a horse called Miss Echo, and Miss Echo at Canterbury Downs was ridden by one Darna Barton, now Donna Barton Brothers.
Yes.
And Donna joining in Ken now. Donna?
Yes, I am here with Kenny McPeak in the paddock. Kenny, obviously with the crutches, you couldn't saddle the horse with a broken leg, but it was important for you to put the saddle towel on. What was the significance of that?
Well, I like to fold it back a certain way, and it's one of those things. I got the towel on, Helen took care of the rest, and Barry's going to leg the man up.
So this has nothing to do with luck?
No, not so ever. Maybe a little bit, though.
All right, well, this is your third Derby starter. The first time you came in as the morning line favorite. Is there any additional pressure because of that?
Not particularly, no. I'd much rather be in the position we're in. I mean, he's a great horse, and he's obviously one of the favorites, and it makes our chances better. So let's hope it happens.
You don't care what they do as long as they win the Florida Derby, the Bluegrass, and come into the race like this?
That's exactly right.
All right, good luck to you, Kenny. Back to you, Tom.
Thanks, Donna. And you know, I suspect there might have been a little more to that because under the saddle towel, they put a 4-leaf clover good luck charm his last 2 starts, and he won his last 2 starts. I don't know for sure, but Jack and Lori Wolf, the owners, and Ken McPeak might have been going for a little luck. That's a look at Harlan's Holiday, number 14. Well, As we said, this is a crazy Derby. You can have an opinion, and you can't be wrong, perhaps. Let's see what our handicappers think. Let's join Bob and Mike.
Tom, when you combine a number of horses that run very fast early with the excitement and the hoop-de-doo of the Derby, this is a recipe, Mike, for the closers, and that historically has been the running style that has played well in this race, and I think it sets up that way again today.
I really do too, Bob. I think you're really going to see a fast pace in this race. Take a look at some of the early speed in here. War Emblem led wire to wire in the Illinois Derby. Proud Citizen in front all the way in the Lexington. Medaglia d'Oro led in the Wood, and Request for Parole was in front in the Spiral. You're going to see a very quick early pace. The horses I expect to see laying right behind these horses, the Stalkers, I think Harlan's Holiday is the main one. His wins in the Bluegrass and in the Florida Derby were very, very impressive. He can lay right back off the pace. Came home with McCarran, is going to be laying 4th or 5th. Private Emblem will be there, and I think Johannesburg will stay covered up.
And if they go fast early, as we expect, that could set it up for the closers. Essence of Dubai fits that bill. So does a horse like Saarland, and of course Perfect Drift as well has shown that he can close.
And you know what? I really think this is a tough race to handicap. There's no doubt about it. I think the pace is going to be quick. I like Perfect Drift. I really loved his race in the Lanes End Spiral. I know he's only raced 5 times at Turfway Park and once here, but watch Eddie De La Houssaye as he comes down the stretch. Well, this is not the video of the Lanes End Spiral, but anyway, take my word for it that in the Spiral, Eddie De La Houssaye was very, very confident. He rode the horse confidently. He didn't really ask him to run until the final 16th of a mile, and De La Houssaye did an excellent job getting this horse up for the win in the Spiral. I think he's setting up well. He's been training well. I'm going to take him on top today.
Actually, the race we saw, Mike, was the Wood Memorial, and that was Saarland. He had the breathing problem in that race. Shug McGahee, not sure whether the surgery will help. If it does, I think that puts him right in the thick of the race. His breeding is impeccable. Unbridled the sire. Can't get any better than that. And the mare was Versailles Treaty, and she won $1 million. So add him up. My selection, Saarland today.
How are you going to knock that? And what about Harlan's Holiday? Here's a horse, 10 starts, 6 wins, 4 second-place finishes. Look at the way he draws off in the Bluegrass. And I know that a lot of people said, yeah, the time wasn't impressive, 151 and change. But this horse won the Florida Derby by 3.5, won the Bluegrass by 4.5, and I guarantee you Kenny McPeek has got him in top form for today's race.
I think the key number to keep in mind is 46. 46 and a fifth, 46 and 2/5. That is the half-mile time. If the front runners run faster than that, they won't be around at the end, and the closers will pick them up. If they run slower, then the front runners have a chance. Tom, back to you.
All right, guys. As we can tell from your comments, it is a very contentious race. And, you know, 25 years ago, a colt with obscure connections came to Churchill Downs with an unblemished record. He'd sold for only $17,500 as a yearling, but now none question his greatness as a racehorse and sire. Seattle Slew, the lone surviving Triple Crown winner. On that first Saturday in May 25 years ago, Slew, the 1-2 favorite under Jean Cruguet, moved to the lead after a mile, cruised home by nearly 2 lengths on his way to becoming the first undefeated Triple Crown winner in history. Now he's the only one left, the last living Triple Crown winner, 28 years old. Bringing the paddock where the 18 Derby horses are walking, waiting for the jockeys to join them. Let's check the odds. Last time we checked, we had the 2 highest Derby favorites in history. Johannesburg at 8, Perfect Drift at 7, Medaglia d'Oro at 7-1. Harlan's Holiday still at 6-1. Last time we checked, that was matched by Saarland. Still the case. Came Home is at 8-1. It's all in the chase has gone down a little bit, but still the longest shot. Easy Grades at 42, and Blue Burner is 24-1. And the jockeys starting to make their way out. Johannesburg will be ridden by Gary Stevens. He's in the blue silks with the orange ball, the silks of Michael Tabor and Mrs. John Magner. David Flores in the blue on Essence of Dubai. We said there was a strong international presence today. There's Chris McCarran. He rides Came Home. He's been very high on this colt and saying that the people who say he can't get 1.25 miles might be surprised today. Some of the jockeys stopping to sign autographs. Jerry Bailey was left without a mount temporarily, but has picked up Castle Gandolfo, who is the other Irish colt. There's Eddie D. We heard from him earlier, Eddie De La Houssaye. And as the jockeys, including Pat Day, who picks up the mount there on Blue Burner, as they get to the paddock, let's go there and Mike Battaglia.
Thanks, Tom. And I was going to try to get a couple of words with Wayne Lukas, but let me tell you something. He's got his hands full right now with Proud Citizen. Proud Citizen really feeling his oats here in the paddock, and Wayne's got his hands full just keeping this horse settled down. Proud Citizen, of course, is a long shot in the race, but that doesn't really discourage Wayne Lukas. Thunder Gulch was a long shot. Charismatic was a long shot. And I can tell you one thing, if Proud Citizen runs half as good as what he looks right now, he could be a dangerous horse in here on the front end, Tom.
All right, Mike. Proud Citizen. His dam, his mother, Drums of Freedom, and the name Proud Citizen. He was named before 9/11, but Wayne Lukas with the display on the side of his barn with the flag in the World Trade Center disaster shown on the side of his barn in honor of Proud Citizen. There's Medaglia d'Oro. Charlesy, this is Bobby Frankel's horse. He's never won the Derby. For all his success, he's been the hottest trainer in America the last 2 years, Eclipse Award winner, and he told me the other day that this would be the icing on the cake in his career.
Well, he managed to get his first Breeders' Cup last fall. He'll probably be able to clean up this Kentucky Derby pretty soon, but Medaglia d'Oro, with only 4 lifetime starts, tries to be the first horse since Exterminator in 1918 to win the Derby on so few starts. But if anyone can do it, Bobby can.
You know, we've seen a lot of support for Perfect Drift, but there's a horse called Request for Parole that comes out of the same race. He was 3rd in the Spiral Stakes at Turfway Park, and he is longer odds, so perhaps a Request for Parole, an overlay at the moment.
If you like Perfect Drift, you have to like Request for Parole. The two of them had a very hot rivalry going all winter long at Turfway. In fact, Request for Parole beat Perfect Drift twice of their 3 meetings, and then lost the Spiral by only a neck, finishing 3rd. Very good chance here today. He lives here at Churchill Downs. He trains here, so at least he's got the home court advantage going for him.
You know, the biggest question mark at the Kentucky Derby is, can they get the 1.25 miles? Most of the horses have never run a 1.25 miles in their lives. Many of them will never run it again, but there is one horse in here who has an impressive victory at 1.25 miles, and that is Essence of Dubai.
Of course, he is of the Godolphin connection, their quest to win the Kentucky Derby. They decided that maybe having a 1.25 mile race would help, so they took the UAE Derby that is run in March over there and lengthened it from 1.1 miles to 1.25 miles. Voila, they've been 1.25 miles.
Essence of Dubai, the Godolphin, best chance in their 4 trips to the Kentucky Derby. That's Request for Parole continuing his stroll as the paddock jammed at the moment. We'll be back. And the horses continue in the paddock. We're waiting for the call. Riders up from the paddock judge.
Riders up.
And there's the command of riders up. And the jockeys get a leg up, and they'll make a turn and then head through the tunnel to the track. Ken McPeak, his 14-month-old daughter Jenna, his wife Sue, with Harlan's Holiday. There's Eddie Delahousie on Perfect Drift. Four-horse Lusty Latin. He's the former claimer, $62,500 he was claimed. Won the Rattlesnake Stakes in Arizona. The 5-horse War Emblem. There's Chris McCarron. He'll be on Came Home. Still waiting to get his leg up from Paco Gonzalez. Number 7, Request for Parole. Robbie Alvarado astride Request for Parole.
And Request for Parole is trained by Steve Margolis, who hasn't even had his head trainer's license for 2 years. He was worked on the racetrack for many years, but is on his own, and here he is at the Kentucky Derby.
Well, coming up will be the call to the posts, and then that most sentimental moment in sports, when one fancies even the horses get misty-eyed, the playing of My Old Kentucky Home.
Gentlemen, please rise as jazz trumpet great Wynton Marsalis joins the University of Louisville Marching Band directed by Dr. Frederick Speck to perform My Old Kentucky Home.
horses are on the track for the 128th running of the Kentucky Derby. Number 1 is Johannesburg, champion 2-year-old in America last year after his win in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, trying to be the first Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner to take the Kentucky Derby. Regular jockey Mick Cannan suspended for careless riding in England. Gary Stevens picks up the mount today. Number 2 is Wild Horses from the Peachtree stable of John Fort, who had Invisible Ink, who finished second last year. Wild Horses, the name comes from the closing lines of the book Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. In the Arkansas Derby, he was second. The 3 horses Perfect Drift, trying to overcome a long layoff. He hasn't run since winning the Spiral Stakes on the 23rd of March. The name Perfect Drift, a fly fishing term owned by the Stonecrest Farm of William and Mary Reed, a doctor from Kansas City. Number 4 is the aforementioned Lusty Latin. His owners, Joey and Wendy Platts, have rodeo horses in Wyoming. Glenn Corbett, the jockey, comes in from Prairie Meadows, Iowa, to ride in the Derby for the first time, third in the Santa Anita Derby. The 5 horses War Emblem, the Bob Baffert trainee. The Thoroughbred Corporation, Prince Ahmed Salman, purchasing him for nearly $1 million, in the neighborhood of $1 million, after he was the wire-to-wire winner of the Illinois Derby, giving 2-time Derby winning trainer Bob Baffert a horse in the Run for the Roses. Ocean Sound, an Irish-bred colt who was third in the Bluegrass Stakes. This is his 5th U.S. start. Alex Solis took a spill earlier, but is okay riding in the Derby. The 7 horse is Request for Parole. Robbie Alvarado in the irons, comes off his best Keeneland meat eater ever, where he was the leading rider in the Spiral Stakes. Request for Parole was third. The 8 horse is Essence of Dubai, the best chance yet for Godolphin. Prince Mohammed, or Sheikh Mohammed, vowing to win the Derby in 4 years. This is their 4th Derby horse. Frankie Dettori normally rides, but David Flores in the saddle today. The 9 horse Medaglia d'Oro. Edmund Gann purchased this colt just before he won the San Felipe at Santa Anita. Second to Buddha in the Wood Memorial. The name Medaglia d'Oro means gold medal in Italian, but named after an espresso coffee of that name. 55-year-old Lafitte Pincray in the saddle. Buddha was the 10. He was scratched. The 11 horse Private Emblem. Private Emblem, ridden by Donnie Mesh, is unbeaten this year. There he is, the 11 horse. He's a New York bred, and New York bred has never won the Kentucky Derby. And trained by Steve Asmussen, who is having a great year. Up-and-coming trainer, leads the U.S. in number of wins. And this horse has won 3 in a row, including the Arkansas Derby. The 12 horse Castle Gandolfo. Castle Gandolfo in real life, the Pope's summer residence, but also the name of this horse. He's the Aidan O'Brien trainee, the stablemate of Johannesburg. Has always been favored, but a long shot today. Jerry Bailey picks up on the mount. He has won on the all-weather track at Lingfield in England, similar to the dirt. 13 Proud Citizen, trained by Dwayne Lucas. His 39th Kentucky Derby entrant. That is the record. He has won it 4 times. Mike Smith is aboard Proud Citizen, who won the Coolmore Lexington Stakes at Keeneland, similar to Charismatic, who won the Derby for Lucas. Number 14 is Harlan's Holiday. Jack and Lori Wolf, the owners, and Jack Wolf, a Louisville native. Today is his birthday. What a birthday present this would be. Edgar Prado is the jockey on Harlan's Holiday. Number 15 is Came Home. Will Farish and John Goodman purchasing part of this horse from Toffin and McCaffrey, the partial owners and breeders. He has won 6 of 7 in his life, ridden by 47-year-old Chris McCarron, looking for number 3 in the Derby. 16 is Saarland, owned by Cynthia Phipps. Her father, the racing scion Ogden Phipps, died a couple of weeks ago, 93 years old, the former chairman of the Jockey Club. For all his great success, he never won the Kentucky Derby. Saarland is a son of Versailles Treaty, and the Saarland name comes from a German territory that was taken under United Nations supervision after the Versailles Treaty. 18, It's All in the Chase. The Oklahoma native Wilson Brown saddling his first horse ever at Churchill Downs. Eddie Martin is the jockey. He started more times than any other horse in the field. 14, was 9th in the Arkansas Derby. The 19 is Easy Grades. Jorge Chavez is in the saddle. Easy Grades with the services of Chavez, who won on Monarcos here last year. Easy Grades in the Santa Anita Derby finished second with some bridle trouble, giving him an excuse perhaps in that race. And number 20 is Blue Burner, owned by the Kinsman stable of George Steinbrenner. Bill Mott is the trainer, the leading trainer all time at Churchill Downs, but he's never saddled a Derby winner. Pat Day replacing Corey Nakatani in the saddle. And those are the horses for the 128th running of the Kentucky Derby. We're back to Churchill Downs in just a moment. Won the Derby with Monarchos. It was a special moment because he was a native Kentuckian and the Derby meant so much to him. A similar situation this year with Ken McPeek. McPeek grew up in Lexington, went to high school there, to the University of Kentucky, and winning the Derby would mean so much. And of course his family has been so much. His wife Sue, who you see in the foreground there, cancer survivor. And McPeek, with the broken ankle that he suffered in the pickup basketball game, has to find a place to sort of hide as he watches Harlan's Holiday, his horse, here in the Derby. We haven't checked the odds in a while. As we see, Harlan's Holiday still at 6-1. He's been there most of the time. Let's update. Johannesburg at 8. Perfect Drift 7-1. Long Shots all the way down. Essence of Dubai at 9. Medaglia d'Oro 7-1. Castle Gandolfo, Jerry Bailey getting play at 14. Harlan's Holiday still at 6-1. 8-1 on Came Home, 6-1 on Saarland. I think it's safe to say now that we will have the highest priced Derby favorite in history, with It's All in the Chase, Easy Grades, and Blue Burner. That's a look at Johannesburg. Only a 7-furlong race on the grass in Ireland to prep for this most difficult of horse races. Let's go to Donna.
Tom, I talked to David Flores, and he said that walking out of the paddock, the horses were just so crammed together, and when the crowd noise started, that Essence of Dubai just got scared. He just sort of panicked, and he had nowhere to go but up. So he just popped up real quick, and David sort of popped off of him, but neither one of them were any worse for the wear, and once he got a little breathing room, he settled right down.
All right, Donna, any other problems that you've seen in the warm-up?
You know, it is amazing to me how calm all these horses are. You have 18 horses from all over the world. I mean, I watched Johannesburg, Essence of Dubai, all the locals, and I can't believe what a bunch of professionals they are, Tom.
All right. Let's keep our eye on number 11, Private Emblem. He goes into the gate wearing a blanket on his hindquarters. He has sensitive skin. He doesn't like the cold steel of the starting gate, so he will enter the gate with a blanket on his hindquarters. It'll remain in the gate as he breaks, but it's just to comfort him while he goes into the gate. Track is fast. Secretariat, the Immortal One, holds the track and stakes record. First leg of the Visa Triple Crown, a $5 million bonus to a Triple Crown winner, but we have not had one since 1978. Affirmed. That's a look at Saarland, who had the operation to help his breathing, and all indications are he's more confident, more aggressive, and perhaps it worked. It doesn't always.
A particularly large horse. He's very laid back, has a very good attitude, very kind. He's a little slow to load in the gate here, but as Donna said, these horses have been exceptionally kind and calm going to the post parade. Lusty Latin might have been the quietest of all. He looked like he was half asleep.
With all the scratches, the horses moved two stalls. The inside horses moved out one. The outside horses moved in one with the two scratches. They're about in the gate. Let's go to Tom Durkin for the 128th Kentucky Derby.
Medaglia d'Oro is moved into line, and there is Blue Burner and jockey Pat Day, who's won more races here at Churchill Downs than anyone. In the gate, ready for the start for the Run for the Roses. And they're off in the Kentucky Derby. Showing that speed of his today. There's Proud Citizen, and on the far outside Came Home with some early speed. Down toward the inside, Perfect Drift is up close early. The early pace appears moderate here. It's Perfect Drift toward the inside. War Emblem in between horses. Proud Citizen with the leaders on the outside. Came Home is up close and racing in fourth. Blue Burner 5 wide heading for the turn in fifth. Request for Parole is racing in sixth. Private Emblem alongside him, running in seventh. Wild Horses eighth toward the inside. Harlan's Holiday 3 wide, running in ninth. Medaglia d'Oro right there in the middle of the pack. He's 10th, and Johannesburg drafting in behind horses. 11th toward the inside. Essence of Dubai is 12th. Easy Grades is 13th. Ocean Sound is now 14th. And they are now followed by Castle Gandolfo running in 15th. And then it's all in the chase. Saarland has only one horse beaten, and that is the late running Lusty Latin. The opening half was a legitimate one. 47 seconds flat. The field moves down the backstretch, and War Emblem leads the Derby field by length. Proud Citizen pushing him along with 5 furlongs to go. And then it's Perfect Drift, who's got a cozy spot down toward the inside. He's running in third. Came Home is only 3 lengths from the lead. He's running fourth as the field moves into the far turn now. Harlan's Holiday is beginning to pick up horses on the outside. Wild Horses toward the inside. Request for Parole is only now about 6 lengths from the lead. Medaglia d'Oro now about 7 or 8 lengths from the lead. He's got a lot to do as they round the far turn. Essence of Dubai is beginning to pick it up now. Outside horses as the field makes their way toward the top of the stretch. It is still War Emblem in front. War Emblem is the leader as the field turns for home. Proud Citizen still hanging in there with a fighting chance. Perfect Drift is down toward the inside. Came Home is putting in his run now. He's about 4 lengths from the lead. Harlan's Holiday is picking it up. Here comes Medaglia d'Oro, who's there on the far outside. 1 furlong to go. War Emblem is still there. War Emblem, and he's pulling away. He's got another gear. War Emblem coming down to the final 16th. Now he's in front by 3, and now he's going to win it. War Emblem has won the Derby in front-running fashion. A beautiful ride there by Victor Espinoza. Proud Citizen finishing second, followed by Perfect Drift. Then farther back, Medaglia d'Oro. So it is War Emblem to win the Kentucky Derby, trained by the ebullient Bob Baffert and owned by a Saudi Arabian prince.
Prince Ahmed Salman of the Thoroughbred Corporation, so disappointed in the Kentucky Derby last year when Point Given, as the favorite, acclaimed a super horse, could not win the Kentucky Derby, went on to take the Preakness and the Belmont. So what does he do? He buys War Emblem to get himself a Derby horse after he took the Illinois Derby. He paid $1 million for him, and it paid off big time today. And did we say there were a lot of new faces here today, but that Baffert and Lucas were here? Baffert wins. Lucas runs second. Let's go to Donna.
Victor Espinoza, you get your second Derby mount of your life, and it's your first winner. How do you feel?
I feel great. You know, since I know I had to ride this horse, I feel a lot of confidence, and I feel good. I have a dream that I win today, this race, and I just feel lucky this morning when I get up, and I tell you, I have a very good chance to win this race.
Did you expect to be able to get an uncontested lead and just wire the field?
No, absolutely not. I just, you know, we talk about for night, you know, ride it, whatever, you know, the race comes out, you know, if we go easy to the lead, well, we want to go, if you know, we just want to be set off the pace, but fortunately, everything worked out very well for me.
At what point did you feel you had the race won?
By the half-mile pole, I know it was the fraction, it was done so easy, and I know nobody's going to catch me.
Congratulations to you, Victor. Well done. Tom, actually, Baffert did have 2 horses in this race. I'm riding his stable pony as well.
All right, Donna. A brilliant ride by Victor Espinoza, who was third on the Baffert-trained Congaree last year in the Derby, and he comes back to win it. Getting in front, slowing down the pace. He had plenty of horse left, as Tom Durkin said, pulling away in the final stride. So Baffert trains his 3rd Kentucky Derby winner. Proud Citizen, the Lucas trainee, is second. He was a horse that just in the last couple of weeks before the Derby even made the race. And as we said, Perfect Drift got 3rd. There's Prince Ahmed Salman, the white-haired Bob Baffert. Richard Mulhall manages the affairs for Ahmed Salman. He went to look at this horse, War Emblem, told the Prince, yes, let's buy him. They did. A lot of members of the media knocked him for buying Baffert a Derby horse instead of bringing one up himself. I don't think it matters one bit. The Baffert magic works again.
We might have to take a look at the head-on shots here, because as War Emblem was making his way through the stretch there, when you see the head-on, you're going to see Eddie Delahousse on Perfect Drift trying to cut that corner and come up the inside. We have to take another look to see if Eddie was going where there wasn't room or whether War Emblem shut him off there along the rail. Here we have him over here. See him come through. Now watch Eddie Delahousse change course and go outside. Now the stewards, I would think that Eddie might want to claim foul on this. Maybe he won't.
Well, so far there's been no indication.
He certainly did lose ground there. He was definitely pinched back and had to change course. Whether it would have affected the outcome of the race is hard to say right now. So obviously it stands.
There is Bob Baffert, who he told me the other day that this was the perfect situation for him. No pressure, no expectations. Go over there and do the best you can with a horse you've only been training for a few weeks. And he pulls it off to win the Derby. Let's go to Mike Battaglia with Eddie Delahousse.
All right, Tom, with Eddie Delahousie, who finished third on Perfect Drift. And Eddie, it was a little bit tight turning from him. Are you going to claim foul?
No, because he had so much horse. If he'd have beat me on neck or something like that, then I said, well, I have a legitimate claim. But his horse just drew away. My horse ran good, but they were going too slow, and my horse needs pace, and that horse had his way all the way around there, nice and easy, and he kept going.
That's right. All right, thank you, Eddie Delahousie. A slow pace does him in. War Emblem in front all the way.
All right, Mike, and Go for Gin was nearly wire-to-wire in '94, but the first true wire-to-wire winner, I guess, since winning colors in 1988. War Emblem is a colt by Our Emblem from Sweetest Lady by Lord at War, bred in Kentucky by Charles Knuckles Jr. and Sons.
Oh, man!
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Bob. Good. Good deal.
Baffert was very relaxed all week, as we said earlier, with virtually no expectations, and a hug from Prince Ahmed for Victor Espinoza, the handshake from Bob Baffert. It looked for a while that Baffert and Lukas wouldn't even be in the Derby this year. Lukas, of course, missed it for the first time last year in a long time. Baffert had the favorite last year and was bitterly disappointed. And the two trainers who have dominated the Derby through the decade of the 90s run 1-2 here in 2002. Prince Ahmed Salman. They were joking at the Baffert barn that Prince Ahmed planned the strategy for Point Gibbon last year, so they said this year, nope, I'm not going to plan the strategy. It's official. The Derby is official, and the winner is War Emblem. Basking in the glow and in the there's a celebratory stand in the irons from Victor Espinoza as the crowd cheers War Emblem. We'll be back with all the payoffs and all the hoopla. War Emblem takes the Derby. The result of the Kentucky Derby is official. War Emblem, the winner, paying $43, $22.80, $13.60, tying the 10th largest payoff in Derby history. Proud Citizen, $24.60, $13.40. Perfect Drift, $6.40. Look at the exacta, $1,300. The triple paid $18,373. And the garland of roses placed upon the withers of the winner, War Emblem. And as the connections gather for the winner's circle photo, let's take a look at our Nexium race replay. And with the large field of 18, the break is crucial and getting position important. But War Emblem had the speed to get out in front. He is in the green and white striped colors of the Thoroughbred Corporation, and Victor Espinoza takes him to a short lead over Proud Citizen right here as they head into that first turn. Important to get position into that first turn because so many things can happen with 18 in the field. And then through the stretch, Perfect Drift coming off the rail, heading to the outside. But War Emblem, as Victor Espinoza gives him a look at the whip right hand, it appeared to have plenty left in the tank. War Emblem at this point begins to pull away again. It's obvious that Espinoza has saved something for the stretch drive. He celebrates a win in the Kentucky Derby. That's our Nexium race replay. Baffert and Espinoza still receiving hugs. So here's the complete order of finish. Medaglia d'Oro for Frankel gets 4th. Came home finishing 6th. Only the second time he's tasted defeat. Harlan's Holiday menacing the leaders for a while, but finishes 7th. The champion Johannesburg in 8th. Essence of Dubai 9th. Saarland, he was the hot horse the last few days. The money really showing on Saarland, but he could only manage 10th. Blue Burner 11th. Castle Gandolfo from Ireland. Easy Grades, Private Emblem, a disappointment. Lusty Latin never made his move. It's all in the chase, Ocean Sound, and Wild Horses completing the order of finish. Well, for all things related to the Kentucky Derby, log on to KentuckyDerby.com. everything you want to know about the Kentucky Derby. It's the official website of the Run for the Roses. It's all at KentuckyDerby.com. Well, we'll hear from the winning connections, and we'll take another look at War Emblem when we return to Churchill Downs. War Emblem is the winner of the Kentucky Derby.
Well, Tom, the winner's circle and victory stand is even more crowded than the Derby field. Tim Smith, the commissioner of the NTRA, is here. Carl Pasquarella, the president and CEO of Visa USA. It's been now almost a quarter century since a Triple Crown winner affirmed in 1978, but the $5 million is out there if War Emblem can prevail in the Preakness and in the Belmont.
Bob, I think War Emblem ran a great race, and after last year with Bob and the Prince coming so close with point given, I think we may very well give the $5 million away this year. We were in the paddock a little bit earlier, and I told the Prince and Bob we'd see him in about a half hour, and it came true. So we're looking forward to the Preakness now, and then the Belmont, and giving away the $5 million. Congratulations.
Carl, thanks. Tom Meeker is the president and CEO of Churchill Downs. The scene here remains one of the most evocative in all of sports, and this year we came not knowing quite what to expect.
Well, we did. We were going to have a great race, and indeed we had a great race, and I'm so happy for the Prince, who's invested a lot of money in U.S. racing. He told me 4 years ago he was about the business of winning this race, and indeed today he did. Last year I thought he was going to win the race with point given, so I'm very pleased. I'm also very pleased that the entire nation focused its eyes on Kentucky this weekend. And with that note, I would like to introduce the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Governor Paul Patton, who will present the trophy to the Prince.
Well, Bob, it just doesn't get much better than this. The sun shining bright here in Kentucky, a great international team, a horse with a tremendous amount of heart. So, Prince Ahmed, let me welcome you to that exclusive group of people that have won the great this 2 minutes in sports. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir. It's an honor to win the Kentucky Derby. It has always been my dream, and to win it here with Americans, this will dedicate this to all the Saudi Arabian people.
Congratulations.
And I love you guys in America.
Thank you.
I would like to thank Bob Baffert. He's the genius. He fixed up for me this year. I'm my all-time friend, Mr. Richard Mulhall, another genius, Victor Espinoza.
So what happens this year? Prince Salman goes and spends almost $1 million, around $1 million, to buy War Emblem after the Illinois Derby. This time the pace is slow by Kentucky Derby standards, and it's their horse that's in the lead, benefiting from that pace all the way around. Unreal.
Let's take a look at the field with the closing odds. And, of course, it's presented by Citgo. Kentucky Derby number 128 is War Emblem, and Proud Citizen sit 1-2 just about the whole way around. Perfect Drift hangs on in there for third place, and he pays big. 43, 22.80, 13.60 in the exacta and trifecta. Also, the Motherlode, 1,300 and more than 18,000. Wayne Lukas tooting the horn of Proud Citizen all week long, holds on for second place. For more on that, let's go to Janine Edwards.
Well, I'm here with his rider. This is jockey Mike Smith. We just took another look at it. We were watching the replay. Did it look any different the second time around to you?
I was hoping I needed that first one, and I could come back and beat him this time.
Hoping the outcome would be different, right?
It certainly was. I'm just ecstatic with the way my horse ran. He ran a tremendous race. Any other horse would have caved in, heading for home, wherever that horse spurted away. He reached down and found something else and got me second back and did it pretty convincingly.
Now, he had never won beyond 1 mile and a 16th before, of course, that being the distance of the Lexington. So I know that you and Wayne were probably thinking, well, we'll see if this horse can get the distance or not. But the way he ran today, he hung in there tough.
And like I said, actually, he was finishing strong at the end. He was finishing stronger the last 16th of a mile between the quarter pole and the eighth pole, if you understand what I'm saying. He dug down and found something and just, continued on, which is very impressive. And he pulled up, took one big breath of air, and come back like it was nothing. So that's a really good sign, because in 2 weeks, as you know, we got to go to the Preakness. So
exactly. Now, the pace was fairly comfortable.
Pace was really happy. I mean, I was really happy with it. I was actually ecstatic. Going underneath the wire the first time and found where I was at that point, going that easy. The only thing I might have could have done different was took the initiative, maybe be a little more aggressive and see if I could get him to back out of there. But I know his instructions were to go. And I also could have changed the outcome for the worse. We might have gone 22 instead of a 23, 46 instead of a 47. And he winds up second, I wind up fourth or something.
Exactly.
So I was happy with it.
Well, hindsight's always 20/20 anyway, but a remarkable performance from Proud Citizen today with jockey Mike Smith in the saddle. Jeff?
All right, thanks, Janine. And you can see the winner's circle there slowly starting to break up. Today's attendance at the Kentucky Derby, just over 145,000. We'll talk with the winners when we come back.
Who, of course, was on came home, but at first I think congratulations are in order because he did win with a long shot yesterday in the Kentucky Oaks Farda Amiga filly that you and I had talked about, and you really liked her chances yesterday.
I did, and she fulfilled my hopes. She had trained extremely well since her last race at Santa Anita, and I thought I could pull off a double, the Oaks Derby double, but it wasn't meant to be.
Well, it would have been nice. Came home, really tried his heart out. You had perfect position. Take me through the race.
He broke very, very well. He was aggressive going by the stands the first time. He was very comfortably placed going around the first turn. A little wide, but I wasn't too concerned with that because the winners were all racing off the rail today a little bit. So at the half-mile pole, I was still very pleased with my position. And when I kicked on him at the 3, he gave me a little bit of a run around the turn, got me excited, but he wasn't able to sustain it.
Oh, I'm sorry it didn't work out for you, but at least the weekend wasn't a total loss, as he did get his picture taken yesterday on Farda Amiga. Jeff?
All right, thanks, Janine. In terms of the pace, everybody thought it set up big time for the closers, but with the way the pace turned out, it just never really materialized.
It might have been, on one hand, it might have been a little overreaction to last year. I mean, last year we saw the fastest pace in Kentucky Derby history, and this year you talk to everybody and they wanted to stalk. They wanted to be just off the pace. War Emblem was getting very little respect because he had his 2 big victories at Sportsman's Park, and that was a racetrack where front runners were winning everything in sight. It was a very biased racetrack, so everyone thought that maybe his races weren't as good as they looked on paper. We'll just let War Emblem take the lead. We'll sit off War Emblem, let him have his way. We'll go get him whenever we want him. Didn't work that way.
All right, let's go back to the stretch run. I know you liked Perfect Drift in this race, and where did his problem start?
Well, it was a remarkably cleanly run race. The only episode I could see at all, any hint of trouble, was Eddie Delahousie, who rode a brilliant race to keep Perfect Drift close to the lead. Here he was going to try to get up inside of War Emblem, you see, right behind there, and the hold basically just wasn't there. I mean, Victor Espinoza did a masterful job of just keeping War Emblem just far enough off the rail to discourage Delahousie, so he swung out and around. Really nothing to that. I mean, obviously the best horse won. It didn't even cost Perfect Drift second money, I don't think, because Proud Citizen finished very well. The way the race was run, the pace, War Emblem, Proud Citizen, Perfect Drift were 1, 2, 3 on the first turn, 1, 2, 3 on the back stretch, top of the lane, and finish. When that happens, you know the pace is a pretty slowly run race.
All right, now let's go back to Janine Edwards, who's with Bob Baffert.
Well, we spoke to some guys who didn't go their way today, but today it was Bob Baffert's day as he gets the job done. He wins his 3rd Derby with a horse that a lot of people overlooked. But you're totally relaxed and totally confident talking about this horse this week.
Well, I mean, I like the way he was training, and I love the way, and all my staff and everybody that we saw him work. He worked as good as any horse that we've had here. So, unfortunately, I bought him, and I didn't really brag on him too much because if you brag on your horses, then you'll get a lot of attention. But I sort of stayed quiet, and after coming in last year with a really good horse and we got beat, you don't know what to expect. So I just came in here and, I just feel fortunate that, we were able to buy him when we did, and the timing was right, and he ran just like he did in the Illinois Derby.
Were you expecting him to get such an easy lead and be able to set such a comfortable pace? On paper, it looked like that would almost be impossible.
Well, Nick Zito told me this morning, he says, you know what, you're going to steal this race. Nobody's going to go with you, and he was right. And so, we were hoping that they would go. But, I mean, that was the only chance of other horses. There wasn't any, ridiculous speed horses in the race. And he's a really good horse, though. He's a really good horse, and he's got a nice, long, fluid stride. And he does things easy. And where he was overlooked, we knew we had the horse, but we needed the luck. And like I said, after the years, I've had some favorites who get beat. And but I love this horse today.
How did he come to your attention as far as the purchase?
Well, we... the Prince, we're always looking for horses and all, and when it turned out that the connections, when they won the Illinois Derby, when they didn't say they were going to run in the Derby, and that's another reason where people overlook the horse is that they thought, well, maybe if they didn't think he's good enough. But I loved his race, and the Prince said, hey, if you can get him, let's get him. And we were able to purchase him, so we're thankful for that. And so really nice people, and the trainer was great. Frank Springer, he told me what to do with this horse. He helped me along, so the transition was smooth, and I have to give him a lot of credit because he really helped me with this horse.
Well, congratulations on a job well done.
And he got $1 million bonus today. To boot.
That's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal. Jeff, back to you.
And the last time that Bob Baffert experienced the winner's circle here at the Kentucky Derby, 1998, with the Mike Pegram owned Real Quiet. We'll be back. Now won 3 Kentucky Derbies, and Randy, that puts him in there in some pretty elite company.
And remember, he just got beat a whisker with Cavanier in 1996. He thought he won that one, or it could have been 4. Ben Jones with 6, Derby Dick Thompson and Wayne Lucas each with 4, and Baffert joined Sonny Jim Fitzsimmons and Max Hirsch. Some high-powered names on that list.
Now for more from the winning camp, let's go back to Janine.
Well, Jeff, Prince Ahmed, the owner of War Emblem, is just so delighted. He's almost speechless, and he's sweating, and he said, if you just won the Kentucky Derby, you'd be sweating too.
Yeah, it's the best diet center.
Now, at the draw the other day, when I asked you, how's the horse doing, you said to me, I haven't even seen him yet.
Because he just got here, I wanted to draw and I want to see him, and he looks gorgeous. Now, it's easy to say now, but I thought we had a very, very good chance. And I keep saying to Bob, please shut up, Bob. Don't say any noise, Because if they let us go in the lead like that, there is nobody can catch him. He's an outstanding animal. And Bob and Dick Mulhall, they made it up for me for point giving last year.
Now, last year, of course, you were denied with point given, but here is your horse coming down the stretch. What were you thinking when you're seeing your green and white colors here in front?
Please, God, go, 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 go. And then I asked somebody, said, Bob, I think was next to me, somebody else, no, Mr. Sinan. I said, please, pinch me. Can't be true, I mean, this is a war. I've been dreaming this race for 25 years or more, maybe 30.
And it's a horse that you just bought a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, this is the best deal. People say, well, if you buy Wheeling and you breed and you buy yearling and 2 years old and you didn't succeed and you buy a horse for 4 weeks and you win, you are smarter than anybody else. Tell you that.
Now, you've had a big weekend. You won earlier today with Stylish. Yesterday, your filly Spain broke the earnings record for a filly or mare, so you have got to be on top of the world.
Especially that I bred her.
Yes.
And I would like to say publicly, Thoroughbred Corporation sell horses. I offered her in the sale. She didn't bring 25,000, took her back. So, I'm just so thrilled, and especially, to win this race. I love America. I went to school in America. I have a lot of friends, and to win it is just like winning for the Americans and for the Saudis, So that's not my horse. It's for Saudi people.
Well, congratulations. We are so delighted for you. Didn't get it done last year with point given, but I think more than makes up for it this year with War Emblem. Jeff?
Well, to his credit, point given was a homebred. Here's the reaction from Bob Baffert. First start for Baffert. What kind of a difference did he make with this horse?
Well, one thing that he did, War Emblem, when he was training earlier in his career, would be a little bit anxious in morning workouts. And knowing that they were going to have to try to get him to go 1.25 miles, they had to work with him really hard on relaxing and settling down. And he became a much more calm horse when they tried to train him that way, knowing that they were going to have to get that extra furlong. And certainly when you make an early lead like that and a pace like that with a horse that's that talented and relaxed, that's the formula. That's what happens.
When they watched him in the Illinois Derby, did they see a contender or did they see an opportunity?
I think I saw a little bit of both. The previous owners, Russell Reineman and trainer Bobby Springer, had done an excellent job with that horse. Clearly, he was a sharp horse. He was going in the right direction. And a lot of horses like that aren't for sale. They can't be bought for any amount of money. Obviously, this one could. They say it's around $1 million. Money well spent.
That's exactly right.
War Emblem was the winning rider, jockey Victor Espinoza. Pretty good percentage in the Derby now. His second Derby ride, he finished third on Congaree. Now he's got the win. Was your strategy pretty much sealed? Were you pretty much committed to letting this horse run freely and take the lead?
Actually, I was not committed to go to the lead. I just want to come clear from the starting gate and then get to clear the first turn, and after that I just want to make my decisions how the race is going to set up.
Is it true you never sat on this horse before this afternoon?
No, that's like watching the TV blind day. There was a blind day for me to watch this horse, and personally this worked very well.
If this was a blind date, you just got married and had your honeymoon all at once on War Emblem this afternoon, and I guess that was the easiest $60,000 you ever made.
Yes, fortunately it was very easy for me. I was, myself very clean.
Yeah.
I took the picture, and I was very excited about this come and win this race, and I know there was a lot of people that just want to win, always this dream to win the Kentucky Derby. That was my dream last year, but my
my horses run very good, and personally today, that when I wake up, I feel good. I feel lucky. I feel like everything is going to be good today for me. And I thanks to all the Baffert and the Prince Ahmed Salid. Thanks, Victor. We got to go. Sorry, we're out of time, but congratulations on a job well done. Very, very exciting win for War Emblem and the Connections, Jeff.
Well, he touched on last year. Quite a journey for him to the winner's circle at the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, last year he was criticized for being too close to the pace. Fired off of Congaree by Bob Baffert after the Kentucky Derby, and he rebounds to win the Derby this year for Baffert. Two other quick points. Baffert, Lucas, Zito. Now they've won 17 of the last 25 Triple Crown races. An easy formula. One more thing. The only closer that looked impressive at all was Medaglia de Oro, coming from off the pace to finish fourth. Watch him in the Preakness.
How about the top two finishers in terms of heading to the Preakness?
Depends on how much speed's in the race. If they get more competition for the lead, it'll be a tougher go.
Thanks for joining us. What a Kentucky Derby. Congratulations to Bob Baffert and company. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. So long from Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky.